Hi, this video is here to help you with turns and positional language. Why might we use positional language in real life? Well, if the navigator of this ship wanted to tell her pilot how far to turn the ship to keep it on course, she would need to use positional language to describe where the ship needs to turn next. The pilot would need to know from the navigator the size of the angle the ship needs to turn and in which direction. Positional language can be used in lots of other situations too. Let's take a look at another example. Emily is with her class in the hall, playing a game in PE. She stands in the middle of 4 different coloured mats. Her teacher calls out a colour, and Emily has to race to be the first to turn and face the matching coloured mat and then touch it with her hand. The challenge for Emily is that she has to do this whilst being blindfolded. Emily works with a partner who needs to describe which way she must turn and by how much. Emily's teacher tells them they are not allowed to use the words left, right, forwards and backwards. Her partner can instead use other positional language to help Emily face the correct colour of mat. But what sort of language would help Emily face the correct direction? What sorts of words do you think would help if she's not allowed to use left, right, forwards and backwards? Well, Emily's partner could start by using angles to help describe to Emily how far she needs to turn in order to face the correct direction. Remember that when we talk about angles and turning, we are describing how when 2 straight lines meet at a point and an angle is formed, and how we can measure the amount of turn between these 2 lines using degrees. If you'd like more help with angles, then why not check out our Angles Facts video on the Twinkl website. So, if Emily wanted to face the blue mat, what would be the angle of turn she would need to make? Well, the shortest distance for Emily to turn, so she can be the quickest to find the blue mat, would be to turn from here to here. Look at the angle that is made when Emily turns from her starting position facing the green mat and faces the blue mat. How many degrees has Emily turned through? Emily has turned through 90 degrees, which is called a right angle. If Emily returns to her starting position facing the green mat, what angle of turn would she need to make to face the yellow mat? If we look at the angle that is made when Emily turns to face the yellow mat, how many degrees has Emily turned through this time? Well, Emily has turned through one 90-degree angle here, and another 90-degree angle here. She has therefore turned through 180 degrees altogether this time. What if Emily keeps turning in the same direction and this time turns to face the red mat from her starting position at the green mat? How many degrees will Emily turn through this time? Well, Emily turns through a 90-degree angle here, and another 90-degree angle here, and one last 90-degree angle here. So, as 3 lots of 90 is 270, we know she has turned through this time 270 degrees. When Emily's teacher calls out round trip, the children need to touch the mat in front of them by firstly turning around in a circle. How many degrees will Emily turn through when she does this? So, if Emily turns through 4 90-degree angles, we know 4 lots of 90 is 360. Then we also know Emily has turned 360 degrees. Does Emily now have all the positional language that she needs to help her play the game? Well, let's have a think. Imagine Emily was facing the green mat and the teacher called out red. Would it be quicker for Emily to turn 270 degrees like this? Or would it be quicker for Emily to turn 90 degrees like this. It would be quicker for Emily to turn 90 degrees to face the red mat, rather than have to turn all the way through 270 degrees. But how can Emily's partner explain to her which way to turn? What other positional language does Emily need? Emily and her partner notice a clock in the hall. As time passes on the clock, the hand moves in this direction. What angle do you notice is made if we watch the time change from 1 o'clock to 1:15? That's right, it makes a 90-degree angle. What direction did the clock's hand turn in order to make this angle? They turned in this direction, and we call that turning clockwise. If the time on the clock changed from 1 o'clock to 1:30, we could say that the clock's minute hand had turned 180 degrees clockwise, as the turn was in the same direction that a clock's hand normally turns. What if we want to talk about a turn that's in the opposite direction to the normal direction of a clock? Well, if you were to make the clock turn the opposite way to normal, we can use the word anti-clockwise, because anti means opposite of. So, if our clock was to turn in the opposite direction from here to here, we can say that it has turned 180 degrees in an anti-clockwise direction. Now, let's see if you can use clockwise, anti-clockwise, and degrees of turn to help Emily be the fastest to touch the correct colour of mat. If Emily's teacher calls out yellow when she is in this position facing the blue mat, what instruction would you give her? You could tell Emily to turn 90 degrees clockwise. What if Emily's teacher calls out yellow from this starting position? You can tell her to turn 90 degrees anti-clockwise. What would happen if Emily's teacher called out red from this starting position? What instruction would you give her? Well, Emily needs to turn 180 degrees. However, compare what happens if Emily turns 180 degrees clockwise, or if she were to turn 180 degrees anti-clockwise. What did you notice? That's right, in situations like this, when we are using positional language, using clockwise or anti-clockwise gives us the same result. What would happen if Emily was facing the yellow mat and her teacher calls out round trip, where the children need to turn around in a full circle? Like with the last instruction, Emily can turn clockwise or anti-clockwise, as the important thing is that she turns 360 degrees. During one round of the game, Emily's teacher gives her an instruction to do a round trip from the green mat, turning around in a complete circle. Then she has to turn clockwise from the green mat to the red mat. How many degrees has Emily turned through altogether? You could pause the video while you think of your answer. A complete circle measures 360 degrees, and a clockwise turn from the green mat to the red mat measures 270 degrees. Altogether, Emily has moved 630 degrees. Now, let's try some questions to help you master turns and positional language. Emily has a different starting position in each of these images. Can you work out which colour mat Emily will be facing if she follows the instructions shown on each image? Now, let's take a look at the answers. If Emily turns 180 degrees clockwise, she will be facing the blue mat. If Emily turns 90 degrees anti-clockwise, she will be facing the green mat. If Emily turns 270 degrees anti-clockwise, she will be facing the red mat. If Emily turns 540 degrees clockwise, she will turn to be facing the blue mat. Great work! Now let's take a look at our challenge question. Emily's teacher decides to make the game more challenging by adding 4 different coloured cones as shown here. The arrows show the direction Emily must face to touch a mat or a cone. If Emily has to turn clockwise from the orange cone to the black cone, what angle will she have turned through? Emily has turned through 270 degrees. I hope this video helped you understand turns and positional language. If you're looking for more maths help, then we've got lots more of these videos on the Twinkl website.